guys, welcome to Heel's Kitchen in my kitchen. I'm Tracy. I have to admit, even though it's fall and we're seeing like squash everywhere and all these root vegetables, I have never really been a fan of squash until I made this. So power bowls are really popular right now, right? So basically it's got greens in it and it's got grains in it. Today we're gonna use quinoa and we're using baby kale and baby spinach, but the difference is this isn't really a salad. So there's equal amounts of grains as there is to greens. I've started by peeling and dicing one parsnip, and I started by peeling and dicing one squash, right? When you are roasting vegetables, you want to make sure that there's enough space between the vegetables so they don't steam. They actually roast, and that's when you get that great caramelizing that veggies do. I'm going to give it a nice sprinkle of olive oil, pinch of pepper, and of course some kosher salt. Now you want to also make sure your veggies are diced pretty evenly. I've done these to about 1/4 inch. I do sometimes do some big and some smaller though, just because I like the difference in texture, but pretty much around the same size so they roast about the same time. You don't want raw and then you don't want burned. All right, they're all evenly coated. They're gonna go in a 425 oven just until golden brown and you see them start to caramelize, which is about 20 minutes. All right, while that's cooking off, we are gonna make the vinaigrette. The more time it has to sit, the better it is actually. So I've got 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm gonna go with 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Make sure you use real maple syrup. It is so much better. You can really taste the difference. 1.5 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. That's gonna help it emulsify really well and get blended. 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Some people that drink this stuff every day, they swear like it's like the healthiest thing. I just cannot do it. But it's so good in this recipe. Just blend this all together and we're gonna leave it sit while the veggies roast off. Make sure it's all really well incorporated. While that's getting ready, while the veggies are still roasting, we're gonna chop, thinly slice 2 scallions. You definitely want the white part and you want all the way up to about this part when it comes to the greens when you're using green onion or scallions. Right into the baby kale and baby spinach. I'm not gonna add this yet, but I'm just gonna get these ready to go. These are chopped walnuts and I've actually roasted them. Anytime you are using nuts in a salad, roast your nuts. Definitely, it brings out so much flavor on them. You can use almonds with this, you can use macadamia nuts. I just think in the fall, roasted walnuts are so much better. But I'm gonna hold off on putting these on until the very end so they don't get soggy. If you're planning on not eating this all in one sitting too, make sure you add the nuts kind of like per plate, and then you can save it in the refrigerator and keep adding them as you use it day by day. Out of the oven, I've been letting the squash and the parsnip cool a little bit, but you can see it's got that really caramelized look to it that happens when you roast veggies. So we're gonna let that cool just a little bit more. We're gonna start to put together what's sort of the salad, but again, equal amounts of grain and salad. I've cooked off a bunch of quinoa, which is a power grain, and I've let it cool as well. Just kind of follow the instructions on the back of the bag of quinoa that you get. I'm gonna put a cup of quinoa in, add it to all the greens. Now I'm gonna add in these gorgeous roasted veggies. That adds such pretty color to it as well. You can mix all of this right in the bowl you're gonna serve it in. And again, you guys, like I was saying, if you're gonna serve it right away and you think you're gonna handle like eating the whole thing, maybe with guests over, and this pairs really well with like roasted meats, go ahead and top it all with the toasted walnuts. If not, if you think there's gonna be a bunch of leftovers, just serve it in individual portions and, you know, plate by plate, add the walnuts on top. That way they don't get soggy and you can keep this in the fridge for a couple days. All right, start to mix it up a little bit before we add the vinaigrette. You can just see all the pretty colors like come together. This just looks like fall in a bowl, doesn't it? All right, top it off with the vinaigrette. You're gonna pretty much use the entire thing. Give it a quick toss. And because like the veggies and the quinoa has cooled, but it's not like cold, it's still a little bit like room temperature warm. It just soaks in all the vinaigrette really, really well too. You don't want that stuff to be cold when you put this together. And here you go. Top it off with those walnuts. I'm actually gonna plate this up a little bit just because it's so pretty. Grab whatever fun little fall platter or plate that you have, or you can serve it just like this. Scoop it up. So healthy, so yummy, and so much fun to serve when you have people over at your house. There you go, you guys. You can check for this recipe and so many more at kygo.com. Thanks for watching Hill's Kitchen.